Class 10th, Footprints Without Feet. The Hack Driver. The Hack Driver is written by Harry Sinclair Lewis. Sinclair Lewis was an American novelist, short story writer, and playwright. He is the first American writer to receive the Nobel Prize in Literature. Some of his famous novels are Hike and the Aeroplane, The Job, an American novel, Free Air, etc. The story begins when the narrator gives his introduction that after completing his graduation with honors, he got selected for a job of junior assistant clerk in a very famous law firm. But instead of preparing legal papers like a lawyer, he had to deliver the court orders to various people whom he had referred to as his victims. He said so because in many of the cases he had to face very awkward situations where he was beaten up by them. One day he got the task of serving summons to Oliver Lutkins, who was a key witness in some case. He lived in a small town named New Mullion. The narrator was very excited to visit a small and beautiful town, but when he reached the New Mullion, his excitement about visiting a village was washed off. It happened so because the village was not as per his expectations. The streets were in a bad condition, as they were full of mud. The shops were also very dull. Everything he saw was full of dullness, making him sad. But then he saw a delivery man who was about 40 years old and was very cheerful. He went up to him and inquired about Oliver Lutkins, as he was new to the town and wanted to find him. The driver told him that Oliver was a nasty man who owed debt to many people. He also cunningly extracted information from the lawyer that he needed Lutkins for some court case. A deal was cracked between both. He decided to hire Bill's hack and go on a search for Lutkins. As the hack driver was working hard for him, he told him the truth behind his search. He told him that Lutkins was a witness in a very important case, but he was not helping them out by giving them the details. That information of Lutkins could help them in solving the case quickly. The driver heard all this seriously and then hit on the clerk's shoulder and said that they would surprise Lutkins by catching him and fulfilling the clerk's purpose. He always asks the lawyer to stay behind. They go to Fritz to catch Lutkins while playing poker, but he tells them that he has gone to Gustav's for a shave. At Gustav's, they weren't able to meet him and were told that someone saw him at the pool room. Here also, somebody said that he left the pool room after buying cigarettes. Bill describes Lutkins as a cunning man and guessed that he must have gone to Gray's for a shave. In the afternoon, Bill offered him to buy lunch from his wife, as it would be less costly than any of the restaurants in the city. They had lunch at Wade's Hill, which was a very beautiful place. By the time, the clerk was totally impressed by Bill's nice and cheery nature. He had even started comparing village people to city people. Later on, they went to search for Lutkins at his mother's house on the basis of information derived from one of his friends. There, the lady was horrible, and they hurriedly left the place as she was about to attack them with a hot iron rod. At last, the lawyer had to leave without serving the summons to Lutkins. Next day, he was scolded badly by his chief and was again sent to New Mullion with a companion who knew Lutkins. Upon reaching the station, the clerk happily pointed out that Bill was such a helpful person to him, search Lutkins. At this time, the truth was revealed by his companion that the hack driver was none other than Lutkins himself. The thing that pinched the narrator a lot was that both the mother and son were laughing at him when he served Lutkins with the summons. Not only this, they requested him to join them for a coffee at a neighbor's house because they were the only people left in the village who had not seen him yesterday when he was searching for Lutkins, though Lutkins was riding with him in the hack. The clerk felt so bad and ashamed of how he had been fooled by a villager. The moral of the story is looks can often be deceptive.